What's happening, people? This is Danny Ladwell here at School of Beatbox, and it's the 29th of May 2021, I believe, and we are getting down with some nasty throat based beats. One thing that I'd like to mention is the teaching style in all of these webinars, the teaching style in all of what School of Beatbox offer. Now, I've been teaching beatboxing for over 15 years to children, adults, all ages, all abilities, people who have musical training, people that don't have musical training. What I find to be the most valuable way to teach is to give people the tools in order to create and build and develop their own creations. What I mean by that is giving people as much access to different sounds, different techniques, different ideas, and then leaving those students, those people, those creators to develop their own things out of that. So, not necessarily having to give exact, precise lessons and saying, this is what you need to do, because you don't. Beatboxing is an art form that is constantly developing, constantly growing, constantly changing. We are finding out that our voices, the human voice, can do way more than we expected. As music is changing, as music produced, electronic music is changing, not only electronic music, but as musical styles and genres are being born and new music is coming out all over the world, our vocals are finding ways to replicate those sounds, to be able to make more and more sounds. We've always had the same anatomy, we've always had this same voice box, the same lungs, the same human makeup. We've always been able to make these sounds, but why are these new school beatbox sounds only coming out now? It's because we're hearing new music. So this is so exciting as a beatboxer, as a creator, and as a teacher. So the point here is take all of the lessons, take everything that you can learn, learn, but more importantly, explore, explore yourself, explore your vocals. You might find the next new sound that no one has ever done. Absolutely possible. Take that inspiration, do something with it. Now let's get into this month's webinar. This is May, and today, for this month, we are looking at throat bass in beats. Okay, throat bass in beats. Now, what we got here is, first of all, we're going to drop in a super simple way to just add a throat bass into a beat. It's going to be a kind of dancey beat, guys, yeah? And what we're going to do is use 4 bass drums. Just like that. Simply, we're going to throw a throat bass. So many different ways you can do this throat bass. Just change the shape of your mouth. Use your teeth on your bottom lip. Get that one. Get that one. Ow, ow. Get that one. You can have that one too. So many different ways. Explore it. You can use whatever style of throat bass you want, of course. We're going to throw this throat bass in between the first and second bass drum. Something I like of this. simple. Absolutely brilliant. Now let's move into dropping a second throat bass in between the second and third as well. So we've got two throat basses, a little something like this. Beautiful stuff. If you haven't done these beats before, enjoy them. They're beautiful. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Now, that's just a simple throw in throat bass into a straight four on the floor rhythm. Four on the floor meaning four bass drums in a straight line on the floor, exactly the same distance apart. They just keep going. Throwing in some extra, which I quite like, helps to get the air back into your lungs, and I think it sounds pretty cool too. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. Right. So we've thrown in throat bass, one throat bass, and then we've thrown in two throat basses just to try out some different rhythms. Try out those two there. You can hear that I was also messing around with the frequencies in terms of pitch, and definitely do that too. You can make a whole nice kind of tune with just that really. Next thing is let's throw in a snare drum. So previously we had four bass drums, right? Now we're going to alternate bass drum snare, bass drum snare, a bass drum snare, bass drum snare. That was wrong, but so we got bass drum, throat bass, snare, bass drum snare. Okay, so go back to the first one. We just had one throat bass, but it's going to sound more like this. Fantastic. Keep practicing, keep moving forward with these rhythms. Practice each one of these and then try and move on to the next level. You can really get deeper and deeper into throat basses. Okay. What I've found recently is the higher throat bass notes. If you push a little bit harder, there's a low one and then a higher one. I kind of almost imagine that I'm biting into the throat bass. You might be able to hear some noise coming from up that way, and that's because the neighboring block are playing some tunes. So if you get some of that background music there, Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. To be honest, today's selection, I'm not really that into, but it's all right. We'll live with it. So, what was I saying? Basically, the throat bass, the higher tones, guys. Yeah, you can. I almost imagine that I'm kind of biting into this throat bass, like the low ones. These ones are kind of have to be much more relaxed, right? The higher ones are a bit more. Um, there's a bit more push to them, and also I kind of feel like I'm kind of rounded kind of effect going on inside the mouth, right? These ones. That's kind of what I'm doing. That's just one technique. It's not like I said at the beginning, you don't have to do that exactly, but I just like to do it and I like to show you what I do. You might like it too. There's just more and more techniques out there. Keep experimenting, keep exploring with the different variations on every single sound that you make. This kind of stuff here. Let's move straight into the two throat basses, okay? So we've got the two throat basses plus the snares as well, okay? So like we did just in the last beat, we're going to keep those snares in there alternating with the bass drum. We're going to throw in a throat bass between the first and second bass drum and the second and third bass drum. It sounds like this. Throwing a bit of a double bass drum in there. If you haven't done these beats before, do them. They're lovely. They're lovely. They're very, very comfortable to do as well. Keep a dance floor rocking. If you're a performing beatboxer, definitely very good. If you just want to lift up the vibe, take these, you can throw in so many different sounds and different effects and find that you can, of course, express yourself, your own musicality, your own style, your own persona and personality into these rhythms. Do that always, guys. Do that always. Take these rhythms, take these ideas. Okay, this is a standard idea. It's not my idea, it's out there. You just basically take this, try it, and then develop, develop, develop these beats further. See what you can do with them. Okay, excellent. We're going to move into something a little bit, let's say, more complicated. Let's say more interesting, actually. So this one is a little more. It's a bit more like this. So we've got the bass drum and the throat bass occurring together. Okay. Then we've got the throat bass on its own, followed by a bass drum, and then another throat bass. What? Here we go. Slow it right down, yeah? First sound. And then throat bass into a bass drum. So we've got those two together. First sound. Then we've got throat bass into a bass drum. So those two together are going to be like this. Again. And again. Yeah. Yeah. And the final thing, one more throat bass. So we got, breaking it down, 3 different sections. Not really sections, but 3 different things going on. That's how I'd break it down. First, second, third, another one of those, okay? So all together we got yeah. And then all we're doing at the end is throwing in the 2 more bass drums. So this is another 4 on the floor rhythm where we just got a bass drum going. But now the throat basses are kind of slipping in between and around them in a different way. They're not as straightforward. They're not just on the offbeat. So they're not just going. They're not doing that. They're kind of dancing around the bass drums in a slightly different way. Yeah. So before we throw in that snare drum there, I can't help myself really. We're just going to throw in the 2 final bass drums. Okay. So we had the 3 little parts. And now it's going to do 2 more bass drums after that. So the bass drums are going. Now let's throw in those snare drums. So exactly as we did before, alternating the bass drum, snare, bass drum, snare, instead of bass drum, bass drum, bass drum, bass drum, sounding more like this. Getting into it now. Yeah, let's go. Absolutely excellent, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is nasty throat bass in your beats. There we have three different versions of adding throat bass into your beats. I've said at the beginning of this webinar that you must, this is not just like you don't have an option, right? You've got to find your own ways of expressing this and find your own extra sounds, own grooves, your own fills, your own kind of breaks as well. You've got to find those. One way that a simple way that you, not I, that you, a simple way that you can form your beats and rhythms and make them kind of flow well is think about it this way. You do one line of a beat. So say one line of this was just that. Let's do it with the snare. So that's one. Okay. The way that we can look at this in order to kind of keep a nice flow going and make your beats not not sound boring is basically do three lines of that beat. Okay. And there might be variations in there as well, but do that three times. And then the fourth one, keep free to improvise even more, fully improvise. An example, something like, now the improvisation part could be sound effects, could be uh, a little breakdown of the beat. It could be something that has a lot more space. It could be words that you say, right? So for example, this is cool. You see what I mean? You could just break it up that way. Think about three, and then on the fourth, you do something a bit more improvised. Now, you might want to take that further and not take it further, but just do it in a different way where you look at not it in, don't look at it in fours, but in eights. Okay, so you do seven of the beat, and then on the eighth one, you do the kind of improv thing. Quick example, I do a faster beat so we don't waste time. I got you see what I mean? It's kind of quite nice. Just think about it that way. If you're not sure musically how to get this flowing, do three of the same kind of thing. Fourth, do something different. Say a word, say something, do a scratch, do a sound effect. Really get into it. Also think about, obviously you do your build ups as well, add like an extra thing. So on this beat you could add the hi-hat. So maybe after the seven, then you did the eighth kind of change, and then you add in the hi-hat. Yeah, super cool. Should I do that for you? Let's do that for you. Look, here we go. Yeah. As always, guys, you are going to get the webinar replay. And that's very, very important that you keep that link. Do not delete that email. If you do, just message mail at schoolofbeatbox.com and request another link. But make sure you use that. The greatest function in that webinar replay is you can rewind. So you can rewind, go to any point in this webinar and just go over it. If there's a bit that you're like, oh, I was working on that, and how did it go again? Use the thingy functions to rewind and play whenever you want. That's it for this month. That is the May webinar. We've looked at some nasty throat bass beats. And of course, you can make these throat bass sounds as nasty as you like, or as nasty as you can. Use the different shapes of your mouth. Try and get lower and lower in those frequencies as much as you can. Make sure that if you feel at any point sore in the throat, it will feel a little bit sore when you're trying out different frequencies. Like if you're going lower than you usually do, you might feel it a bit sore here. Be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. As soon as you feel something that feels too uncomfortable, stop and take a rest, because that's basically your body saying, whoa, 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 hold on, hold on. I'm not managing this. So yeah, you need to be careful with that, because you could damage your voice, and that would be absolutely terrible. Don't do that. So fantastic, guys. Loads and loads of love. I want to say welcome, of course, to the new subscribers to the Extra Plus and Extreme course. I hope you're loving the course. And yeah, look out for the new lessons that will be appearing on the website. There are some updates coming with the website itself. Not sure exactly when that's all going to be done. There's a lot going on here at School of Beatbox at the moment, with ongoing classes for various people. So just look out for those. There'll be a new look to the website coming in the upcoming months. Keep reaching out. I want to hear what you would like to see a webinar about, what topic you'd like it to be on, a particular sound, a particular style, a particular rhythm. Please message in. Mail, that's MAIL, at schoolofbeatbox.com. Message in and request something. And you never know, we might do a webinar on that. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Peace. Catch you soon.